Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce Ng and our very special Marvel correspondent, Kaitlin Thomas, and Captain America, all in the same window.
Again.
Very exciting. Love it so much.
Thank you for having me back.
Of course, we have to. Marvel had a big week this week for Emmy nominations. The MCU had 28 Emmy nominations, 23 of which were for WandaVision, and then 5 were for Falcon and Winter Soldier. But I want to start there, Kaitlin, because you were, I feel like, the trendsetter of Don Cheadle, nominee and guest actor in a drama series. He's in this show, but you timed it. How long is he in it?
Well, so it's difficult because for screen time, it's really like 2 minutes. There's a whole scene where he's walking around a museum with Anthony Mackie, but there were some reaction shots during the speech. So I had to time those as well. Comes to about 2 minutes total in that entire episode.
Kaitlin was a pioneer because she timed it weeks ago, like literally a month ago, and wrote about it. And now, in the past couple days, everyone's just been dragging him for this like 95-second performance. And it's like, guys, if you read Caitlin's story, we already knew this could have happened. And then last night, Don Cheadle was on Jimmy Fallon promoting Space Jam, obviously. And Jimmy, of course, congratulated him on the nomination. And he said that you were nominated for 5 minutes of screen time. So not even Jimmy Fallon read your story.
Wow.
Very exciting.
Jimmy Fallon needs an ombudsman, I guess, for the Tonight Show, maybe, or something, to get that right. That's a way he overshot. He doubled Don Cheadle's screen time, basically.
Yeah.
More than doubled.
Really? They should really been.
Let's start with there. I don't think so. Don Cheadle, great. Falcon and Winter Soldier. The other 4 nominations are special effects, sound effects, and like that's basically it. I think, right? Like it didn't really
stunt
stuff, right? All the stuff you kind of maybe expected. The funny thing about the one thing I will say, none of that is a surprise, though. I was shocked that if they're going to nominate Don Cheadle, they didn't nominate Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I just don't get it.
I've been thinking a lot about this because I also wrote about how she could get that nomination.
And you also timed it.
And I also timed it. I can't remember exactly now since she didn't get it. I didn't look it back up. But what I've decided is that people just really love Don Cheadle and it doesn't really matter. They see his name. No offense to Don. I talked about this last time. He's great, but that's how he got nominated. People like him. But Julia, I'm like, maybe people really just think she's so incredible and all those other things she's did. And that means like all of her Emmys, I feel like, are well-deserved because they looked at her thing where she just walks in and says some funny lines and we're like, maybe not the greatest.
I think it's a result of 2 things. Like, yes, like Don Cheadle is obviously very beloved and can get nominated, name checked, however you want to call it, for anything. This is his 11th nomination. He's never won. And as I mentioned the other day, he will definitely get nominated for narrator next year for the Wonder Years reboot. The premiere date was announced today. So they're, really capitalizing on this momentum for him. And I really feel like as soon as he lands like a really good project, whether film or TV, that's a contender in the top categories, like he's winning an Emmy and Oscar. Like they're just like waiting to award him for something that's like a big player.
Well, let me ask you this. What are the chances that he actually wins this category?
I have Timothy Olyphant in first.
So the nominees are Courtney B. Vance for Lovecraft Country, I believe, right? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Charles Dance for The Crown, Cheadle, Carl Weathers, and Timothy Olyphant for Mandalorian.
Yeah, I think it's going to Tim. I should have brought out my Timothy Olyphant, also cardboard cutout that I have, but we can do that for a Mandalorian episode. I have it going to Tim. I think that everyone loved him in that episode of Mandalorian. That's all people talked about. So I think he's winning. I'm sorry to Don next time, maybe.
I think Charles Dance is the safe choice, because it's The Crown, and The Crown is the drama series frontrunner. And I think Charles and Courtney B. Vance are the top 2 because Lovecraft also did very well, post cancellation, even though the cancellation didn't affect it at all. But this category is also like very weak. We've talked about it last time, how Ron Stevens Jones did not submit, reigning champion. And, like Chris at some point had like Patrick Dempsey coming in there.
I'm still like hoping they'll do a recount and he'll get nominated. I'm not ready to let that go.
You know what? I'm glad he didn't, because this means Kyle Chandler still reigning Grey's Anatomy champion.
Yeah. Like drama guest actress is slightly more competitive. It has the 2 Handmaids Tales actresses, Alexis Bledel, which everyone's predicting, and McKenna Grace, who a lot of people loved, but were like wary of like whether she could get in. And she's 15 years old, so she'll be the youngest guest actress winner, or guest acting winner in general. So I feel like she probably knocked JLD out.
I guess so. I think she could win because, like you said, I think.
Oh yeah, I have her first.
Yeah, like people loved her performance, and I guess maybe she did knock JLD out. But in theory, we'll have a chance to give JLD an Emmy next year for her Marvel work if she's in Hawkeye, right? Like assuming based on
she's gonna bust out that iPad also.
Yeah, like how so
Jeremy Renner.
Black Widow spoilers here, but like Black Widow ends with Julia Louis-Dreyfus coming to talk to Florence Pugh about going to kill Jeremy Renner and Hawkeye, which we'll see play out in the show, which is going to air this year on Disney Plus, presumably. So you have a JLD option, a Florence Pugh potential guest or supporting actress nominee next year in the Emmys. And yeah, sure. And Jeremy Renner too, maybe as a guest actor, or he's actually a co-lead, right? So there you go. He'd be best.
And your fave Dickinson star, Haley Steinfeld.
Right. Who could get her her deserved best actress nomination for Hawkeye, I guess. I don't know. I guess, yeah, I don't know. I was like, I could see all of those people getting, we had talked about for Falcon Winter Soldier, like Carl Lumbly or Daniel Bruhl or what's his face? Russell Wyatt Russell. Wow. Russell Wyatt would be cool too. Wyatt Russell. None of them made it in. I'm not really surprised, I guess, in hindsight.
I'm not surprised.
No.
A little bummed maybe about Wyatt for me personally, but no, I'm not surprised by any of that happening.
Yeah, and like lead actor would have been tough for Mackie and Sebastian.
Yeah. So that's it for Falcon Winter Soldier. So a good job there. It could still win a couple. I could see it winning Cheadle. I just can. I don't know. I think
I can see it winning stunts. Like the stunts, the action.
I think the stunts
are really good.
Remember the really cool. 2 semi fights? I really feel like the stunts really could shine here.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good. Now let's go to WandaVision then, because that was like the big one. 23 nominations, best limited series, multiple acting nominations, potential to win. Like, I don't know how many of these can it win? Like 5, 6?
I think it has the potential to win. As I've told Joyce, I am going all in on Paul Bettany now that Ethan Hawke was snubbed.
Okay. I feel like you and I need to gloat.
You do
for a little bit.
Please do.
Because during nominations phase, you and I were the only experts predicting Paul Bettany to win the whole time. And yes, like we probably were not going to keep him for the winners, like pending the nominations, but Ethan Hawke snubbed.
Yeah.
And now everyone else is going all in on Paul Bettany with us.
I know. They're following our lead.
Yeah.
We really were the trendsetters here. Because sorry to Hugh Grant. It's not happening. I'm really sorry, Chris. I know you loved The Undoing.
No, I do love him in it, but I mean, I think the show only got 2 nominations or 3, and it's like
Sutherland didn't get in.
Right, so it's like clearly he's a very weak. If people are picking him, he's a very weak choice because there's no other support for that show. WandaVision with 23 nominations almost had as many as The Crown, so it's like one off the most nominations. So I feel like that Paul Bettany is going to win, and I think Catherine Hahn is going to win. Even with Julianne Nicholson there for Mayor of Easttown, I think it'll win certainly best song or music, right? Whatever for Agatha All Along. I feel like that's a favorite. It's got the 3 writing nominations, which we all dunked on and we're all wrong about, as Joyce and I talked about
on our faces.
Yeah, we do. But you know what? In our defense, that's kind of crazy. I was thinking about how many nominations it got. At first I was like, that's insane. But then I started looking at it and I was like, most of these I actually expected it to get in, like hairstyling and costuming and, production design. Those were really the only ones that kind of shocked me, I guess.
Yeah, I think I was expecting like high teens for it, but like 23 is a lot. And then the writing ones, we were dragging it so hard for oversubmitting. And it turns out like either the format of the show, the structure of the show being a separate decade every episode, like people remembered it, and I think obviously they clearly remember the grief line, which everyone loves, so they knew that. And then they checked off the pilot, and then the Halloween episode with the tremendous performance from Evan Peters, who is not nominated for this, but is nominated for Mayor of Easttown. But I feel like since everyone they loved WandaVision so much, that could help him win for Mayor.
I have him winning, for Mayor of Easttown for sure. Of course, he's definitely going to win. I mean, I think that what you just said there, Joyce, is actually right, and like why possibly I could see it like winning maybe one of those writing. I don't think it will because like it just won't. But like
I don't think it will.
there's like a lot of like it's memorable in that it stands out, like you said, like having the decades and the Halloween episode. I'm like everybody knows her in that like devil dress, right, or the costume or whatever. That's like the lasting image of her. Like they used it on all the marketing and everything, and like I don't know, a lot of these other shows, like, you know, not even to besmirch them, they all kind of blend together, right? Like if you're just watching something, you're like, what's the difference between, we were talking about this before, like the Ted Lasso episodes, love Ted Lasso, but there's literally no delineation between like the filmmaking or the directing or the look between like episode 1 and episode 8 or 9 or whatever it is. And this show, it's just is like everything looks different. And I don't know, I could see it winning. Maybe, I mean, I don't think it would win directing. Again, that whole category is stacked, and like Scott Frank is probably going to win for Queen's Gambit, but like, I don't know. It wouldn't shock me.
I have it in second, just because I feel like the scope of the show, like they literally shot a new pilot every week.
Yeah.
You know, they have to redress the set completely, and just, you know, like the aspect ratio, the costuming, like production design, like everything. I feel like that might garner a lot of respect. And then, you know, what's his name? Matt Shackman, who directed it, he's like a pretty well-known name, you know, in the field. So, but yeah, I have Queen's Gambit winning directing. I think Michaela's winning writing for I May Destroy You. So, but yeah, again, I think it just shows like they were watching and paying attention, because, you know, not even Underground Railroad, which just submitted one episode, was nominated for writing.
It's pretty remarkable. I guess I'm like, yeah, like, I mean, 8, 9, it could win a lot. It's going to win a lot. And I think that the fact that it was limited series 2 helped it, because like people were like interested in the closeness of it. It's just like, okay, this is good. It's like a one thing, and like, that's it. So, and then that's the only chance we're going to have to honor it. So like Paul Bettany, like, yeah, he'll win probably, because like, you're never going to get to give him an award for this show again, in theory, unless they come up with another one. And Matt Shackman, who you just had, like, also announced to direct Star Trek this week. So good week for him. I feel like getting in there. I still think Scott Frank will win, though. But like he's got enough little ancillary things that I could pick an upset there. Maybe, I don't know.
So I like at like the end of like May, and after Mayor of Easttown, I switched to Julianne Nicholson, but I've since switched back to Catherine Hahn. I would be happy with either one of them winning.
I have Catherine Hahn. Kaitlin, what about you?
I think I have Catherine Hahn as well. I think so. I don't know. I did it yesterday, and now I don't know what my predictions are.
I mean, are you predicting either Hamilton lady?
No. I think it's safe to say I'm not predicting Hamilton in any category. No.
Are we like, I feel like some people are afraid because Hamilton did so well with acting that they might actually win, but I don't really see it winning.
I don't see it happening.
It seems like it'll be tough to beat.
Yeah,
I think.
I feel like the nominations are the rewards for them. Although I do have Daveed Diggs in second.
I mean, that's the one category I think that one of them could win, because like I do have Evan Peters winning, but like those are the strongest. Like that's like the maybe not the weakest, but like there's like room there for potentially somebody else.
I mean, like the 3 people we thought would get nominated were not.
Right.
John Boyega, Bill Camp, and Donald Sutherland.
Right. So it's a little more wide open. But I think Catherine Hahn will win for sure. I don't know. I just feel like that she's gonna like lock it in, and that's fine. And people will be happy with that. Yeah, no, it was good. WandaVision's still good. I still like it. But
what about Lizzie Olsen? That's the hardest category for them to win.
I think that in a different year, I think she would have had a much better shot. I just don't think that she's gonna be able to compete, I guess.
Yeah, with Anya Taylor-Joy, as Joyce and I were told, not Anya Taylor-Joy. Anya Taylor-Joy.
Ann Taylor.
As Ann Taylor, and Ann Taylor Loft and Kate Winslet are probably going to duke it out there, and I think they're neck and neck in the.
Bella has a lot of passion too.
I think it's on Kate personally.
I have Kate.
I think I have Kate also, but I could see Ann Taylor Loft getting it though. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I feel bad for Lizzie, because it's like she was the most like acclaimed performance of the series, and you know it's mostly about Wanda's grief. So I guess like optically it would look kind of weird if like Paul and Catherine won without her, but I don't think people vote like that anyway. Like you're voting for your favorite in that category.
Yeah, and I think the other 2 performances are just easier. Like not even as a knock on them, but it's like Yeah, or just like Catherine Hahn is doing memes and stuff, and she's like funny. It's like, of course I'll vote. And Paul Bettany is just really charming and like kind of like good. And like, you know, Elizabeth Olsen is great, but like it's a complicated. She's really in a tough category, and it's like a more nuanced performance than I think the other two are just so obvious, and that's gonna help them too. I don't know.
Yeah, they're the memorable ones. No offense to Lizzie, because she is great and she has a lot of great moments. But like when you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, I remember Catherine doing this and this and this. And
Right.
I think that happens a lot, actually. That's what people remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move on now to next year's Emmys. I want to talk about so a Loki finale was this week. I really loved it. I'll just say that right up front.
I
So
think
three
we
of
all
us-
loved it.
Great job, us. We're right. I feel really good about that. And some people didn't like it. They're not right. We were right.
They're wrong. Those people are wrong. Joyce and I have talked about this extensively for the last 24 hours. Those people are all wrong.
So I would like to think that Loki is so good that it could get like double-digit nominations next year in the drama category, including acting nominations for Tom, for Owen Wilson, and guest actor, of course, for Jonathan Majors at the end there. I'm like way in
And
on it. I
Richard
think
E.
that'll.
Grant.
What's that?
Richard E. Grant.
Richard E. Grant, too.
winning. I am calling it. He's gonna win.
I'm in. I think it'll also hold up. That's the thing. I guess the one worry you would have is that like you're gonna have Succession and all these different shows coming on, and the Emmy nominations next year, not for another literal year. But like I think Loki's gonna hold up. I think it's so good. I think they'll do a good job of bringing it back into the consciousness. I think because of how much it has to do with the MCU, people like kind of keep revisiting it, especially if like.
And
It's
the
a big-
movies are gonna come out now for real.
Right. So like if Spider-Man Far From Home, or what is the next one? Is
No
it
Way
not Far From Home? What is the
No
new
Way
one
Home.
called?
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
So Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange are both going to deal with the repercussions of Loki, which I think they seemingly will. Then that'll keep Loki in like people's minds. And I just think that'll help it as it keeps moving towards Emmys next year. Tell me I'm wrong, I guess.
I mean, no, Marvel's genius because it's like people might not be watching Loki right now, but they'll watch the movies later and they'll be like, I have no idea what the hell's going on with all this stuff. And then they'll have to go back and watch Loki to figure it out. So it's really kind of brilliant. I mean, you can complain about Disney and Marvel all you want, but they have a really good plan. And I think really though, what it depends on is when season 2 of Loki comes out, because obviously it's been planned since the beginning. So if they can release Loki season 2 either like June next year when people are voting, that way people remember it more. I think that would really help. I don't know
It's
what
hard to
the
say
plan is, but-
where it's supposed to fall in the timeline in phase 4.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Kaitlin have also talked about like how this should have been released after WandaVision, because we feel like as the second show, because we feel like because it's the third show and like Falcon Winter Soldier was kind of underwhelming, that the discourse around Loki wasn't as high as it was for the other two shows, even though I would say like the finale was better than the other two shows.
Yes.
I still think WandaVision was the better show overall, but Loki is really, really good. And I thought the plotting and the writing was better, except for the third episode, which is fine, but whatever.
I liked it better than WandaVision. I also thought I just think he's so good. And I really think like he's like Tom Hiddleston is so, he just has the, like in the lead up to it, they did a lot of press about how like he's like the keeper of Loki, and I could not roll my eyes more at every story doing the same thing about how he's doing like Loki class and like all this stuff.
Loki school.
Like,
I would go to Loki school though.
Yeah.
I feel like
Where is the footage of Loki school?
I would go to. I'm sure they'll release that sometime on Disney Plus or whatever. It's like
they should have. I don't think that they filmed it, but that's what I feel like they should have done. You should have filmed him teaching class about Loki, like Better Call Saul, all those things that they do. And
Short
really,
form Emmy coming. Come on.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll maybe they're saving it for the Emmys. But I was just rolling my eyes because I was like, honestly, who cares? But then I was like, you know what? He's got it. He's totally right. I was wrong. He totally gets the character. He's so charming, and like he has chemistry with literally everyone on the show, no matter who it is, no matter what scene he's in. Just incredible work. And I really, really love him. And if drama is like, we assume drama will be a bigger, stronger category next year, but I'm like, if it's sort of not, like, he could easily get in, I think. I just feel like he's like gonna I think he could be like one of the top contenders next year, even if he's not gonna win. I feel like he could be he's got the potentially easiest road of the rest of the show. I mean, Owen Wilson, I think like supporting is always like a busy category. You're gonna have like 7 different Succession guys in there, and like, you know, Owen Wilson kind of disappeared too at the end of the show, so like probably not.
They didn't talk about the jet ski for him, so
yeah, I guess that's in season 2. I'm holding out for season 2 on the jet ski. I really thought that was coming. Sophia DiMartino, right? She was she could maybe get, I thought she was quite good. I could see them making like a category fraud supporting case for her, but maybe not. I don't know. She is kind of the lead, but yeah, I could see them all kind of getting in. And then the guest actor, Richard E. Grant, like you said, Jonathan Majors, in. Just let's do it. Lock him in. 1, 2, Richard E. Grant wins. Sure. I got it.
I sort of want them to like put Jonathan Majors in supporting just so like they can both win, because I love Richard E. Grant and Jonathan Majors, like, and he delivered, like, Jonathan Majors delivered the most riveting exposition I've ever heard in a Marvel project. Like he talked for like 20 minutes in the finale, which I know a lot of people did not like, but I enjoyed it.
I loved it. I was like, this is great. Why is this so much better than the exposition at the beginning of the show? I just
like
should have had
the scenery. It was so much fun. I'm like, I want more of this.
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought it was great. It reminded me of Devil's Advocate. I think that, like, if you've seen that movie with Al Pacino, he plays the devil. And at the end, there's literally like 20 minutes of him monologuing to Keanu Reeves about why he's the devil. It's great. And it's so charming and like hilarious. And Jonathan Majors just eating an apple and like being villainous and is incredible. Awesome. He was so good. So good. I almost wonder if he was good enough on this to help his current Emmy campaign for Lovecraft Country in a category that's not super strong.
I don't know.
Joyce, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I feel like Josh O'Connor in drama actor is not a rock solid lock like a Gillian Anderson or an Emma Corrin, although I feel like now a lot of people are trying to like make a case for Elizabeth Moss and like MJ Rodriguez. But yeah, lead actor, I feel like the number 2 everyone has right now is Billy Porter, because he does get to do a lot in the final season of Pose. So, but yeah, like Lovecraft, you know, got like what, 18 nominations. And yeah, I feel like Sterling, Reggae, and my dear Matthew Reese are probably out of it. So it's probably between those 3, I guess. But I don't know. Like, would you predict him to win?
I'm not predicting it now, but I could be predicting it soon. I don't know. I just think that category is wide open. I'm not convinced that Josh O'Connor is like a strong front runner at all. I think he's good on The Crown for sure, and he's like plays Charles like so well. But I think the character is so unlikable that people maybe are just going to be like, I don't want to vote for this guy, right? Like it's just, he's such a good villain. And Billy Porter, I think, is a legitimate shot, but I don't know. I could see Jonathan Majors just off the surprising nominations for Lovecraft Country, because I think it overperformed based on like at least what I expected. Plus the idea that it's not really going to, where else is, maybe it'll win for Michael K. Williams, but like there's not a lot of places it's going to maybe win. And like, I don't know. And then the Loki performance, I'm like, I don't know, maybe he does win. He could win at least. It's not like a long shot.
I mean, it's truly a shame that Wumi Masaku did not get in for Lovecraft as well in supporting.
Pretty weird too, because she was one of the front runners.
For Loki.
Yeah. What else for Loki? Anything else? Any other people you think could get nominated, or what do you think, Kaitlin, as our chief Loki correspondent with glorious purpose?
What's weird about Loki is that like obviously everyone in it is really good, but what I feel like stands out most to me is like the production design and the music, and like that show just stands out completely, not just from like the rest of the Marvel stuff, but like television in general. I can't remember the last time I was like, oh yeah, this is a really amazing score, and it really sets the tone. And so I feel like, in addition to just like Tom, I feel like Tom should get a nomination, being charming and whatever, like that. He's just Tom. I don't know. I feel like they were just like, how can we bring Tom Hiddleston back? And then they created the show.
Well, as he confirmed yesterday on Tumblr,
he will play this character forever. He's
he was explicitly asked if he would play it for the rest of his life, and he said yes.
Good. Please play it for the rest of your life, Tom Hiddleston. It is incredible. You are so good at Loki.
I mean, I agree. The music should win.
I love the score. Natalie Holt is the composer, I think, and they finally put it out on Spotify, at least the first 3 episodes. I was listening to it right before we were doing this because I just love it so much. I'm certainly maybe the millionth person to make this comparison. I guess it reminds me a little of, it's not as good, but it reminds me of Lost in the scoring of it and the production design of it. It does. And I think like the characterizations are also very Losty. And I don't know, that was a big nominee for its, run. I could see Loki doing really well next year. That's it. I don't know. I just have a feeling that they'll be able to keep up the momentum. But the music, I mean, never going to go against the god Nicholas Britell for Succession, but Loki score.
I mean, he lost to Ludwig last year for Mandalorian. So
Mandalorian's good too, though. They're all good. TV music is good.
It's true.
Hot take. Any other Marvel stuff before we go? The future of the MCU. So next up is What If, which is animated. I mean, I'd imagine that could get in there next year as like an animated show nominee, sure, and maybe
pay attention to it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like most like the surface level Marvel people who are watching these shows probably have no interest in watching What If. So I don't know.
That's true. But also, it's a ripe opportunity to get a lot of famous people like a voice acting nomination at the Emmys.
True. 100%.
Fun. Including another posthumous Chadwick Boseman nomination possible for he plays Star-Lord as
too bad Anthony Hopkins is nominated this year, or maybe he could be nominated again next year. So
he could be. Anthony Hopkins could be in What If though, because he's also part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It's true. So, I don't know. I have no idea who's part of that voice cast at this point. They announced like 40 people 2 years ago, and at this point, I'm just like, I just know Chris Evans is not in it.
Like Haley Atwell is.
Yeah, Haley Atwell is, and it's like Michael B. Jordan is, I think. Chadwick.
It's like
Jeffrey Wright, I think, plays a big
Sebastian Stan, and because he released his behind the scenes recording on his Instagram,
which was art. That is, I wish more people should go watch that.
Let's nominate that.
Why not? So that'll be first, and then I guess Hawkeye is this fall. They haven't announced anything yet, but like it seemingly is this fall, and that puts, like we said, like Haley Steinfeld, Jeremy Renner, and Florence Pugh into the Emmy conversation, where if potentially Zach Braff wins an Emmy for directing Ted Lasso, then Florence Pugh could win a matching Emmy next year for her potential Hawkeye performance to really stretch out this connection, I guess. Sure.
Yeah. The couple that gets nominated together and wins together sticks together.
It's true. The Emmys really, they did. Yeah, they had, well, I mean, Philip Seymour, Felicity Huffman and William H. Macy are husband and wife Emmy winners. They were touting, at least.
William H. Macy.
They made a grand return this year.
Yeah, William H. Macy.
Shocking.
And then next year, I guess the show. I mean, there's still Marvel is going to be releasing TV shows seemingly through forever. So it's like Moon Knight, I think, and She-Hulk are next, and they might actually come out before the Emmy deadline next year.
That'll be how Ethan Hawke gets his Emmy nomination.
So there's an Ethan Hawke Emmy and Oscar Isaac potential Emmy.
Isaac,
he's also got Scene for a Marriage, so maybe he'll get that as a limited nominee next year. Like everybody's in Marvel.
But I do know that's coming, I think, post Hawkeye. They haven't announced any of the like actual premiere dates for.
Well, there's also Armor Wars with Don Cheadle.
Right.
Actually.
Don Cheadle. Whenever that comes out, I don't know. I hope he wins for that.
Another Don Cheadle. And maybe, I mean, who knows if they change the rules or something, he could also be a nominee next year for Space Jam, where he plays the algorithm. So that's great for him. Joyce and Kaitlin, I think we can wrap up. Anything else on Marvel before we do?
I don't think so. Other than the fact that I do wish that they could have been nominated. WandaVision, I wish could have been nominated for all of like the actual individual main titles that they had. Obviously, the main title was like the ending music and title.
The big titles.
Yeah, but like those fake titles, man, those were great. I wish we could have had some nominations for those, but it's not.
They should have appealed somehow.
Should have just been all WandaVision for the main title design.
I'd be fine with that. Honestly, you're right. The main titles are great. Kaitlin and Joyce, thank you so much for doing this. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you again soon, Kaitlin, because this is too much fun. We'll find other Marvel stuff to talk about or whatever.
All right. Thanks, guys.